Hello, welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I'm Stevie B, happy to have you all with me today. Let's take some big sips to get this one started off right. So, guys, today we're going to continue our series on planet Cyrene, and today we are going to do part 1 of 2 on the Cyrene crafting dailies. Now, these are only the Cyrene crafting dailies that we will need for ARC faction badges. So we're here at the 0 by 101 supply depot, and if we look around we can see that the development team has recently decorated this, getting it ready for the holiday season. As you can see on the screen, I've already got all 5 of the crafting dailies pulled up, but if we come over here, Andrina is the Sweat Collections NPC. That's where we turn in sweat every day for an ARC faction badge. We've got Lee, who gives us the mining ARC faction daily missions that we can get once we have 200 ARC faction badges on us. But we've got Mac, the trade supplier, and Mac is the NPC where we get all 5 of these daily crafting missions that we need for ARC faction badges. Now, these are dailies. They have a 21-hour cooldown time, and you don't have to have a certain number of badges to get these crafting dailies. You can do these from the get-go, right away, right out the gate. Now, this is going to be part 1 of a 2-part video series. You're actually going to want to split these crafting dailies into 2 different segments. So, right here at the very top, I've got craft a CBR 107. I'm going to exit that. We're not going to deal with that one today. That one is going to come in part 2. And I've also got craft an embossed Cyrene shirt, and we're going to get rid of that one. That one we're going to save for part 2. Today we're only going to look at the first 3 of these 5 daily crafting missions that reward us with ARC faction badges. Those are craft a Cube Empowered Lube, craft a Cyrene acid armor plate, and craft some Cube enhanced metal. Now, before we get started today, I want to do something, and it's kind of funny. I can't help but laugh. I have had a lot of people that make fun of my videos because they're not shot in HD or because I don't play the game on the highest visual settings. Somebody, another YouTuber, actually apparently called my rig a Nintendo 64 in an effort to make fun of me. And I told you guys long ago, I said, you might want to be careful who you make fun of. You never know what somebody has or what somebody doesn't have. You never know what somebody's actually using. You just think you do. Well, guys, I hate to break it to you. I tell you what, why don't we just go with very high on the graphics? How about that? How about we just go with very high? Does that work for everybody? Because what I've decided to do is I've actually had a Predator sitting in my closet for 2 years, just collecting dust. Not being used, not something that I felt the need to pull out and use for recording my videos or playing the game. Personally, I like the machine that I've been using. I like the way the graphics look. I like all of that. But I've actually had an Acer Predator just chilling in the closet. I literally have not logged into this thing since the day I got it. I literally just stuck it on the top shelf and honestly never even took it out of the box. And I figured if I'm going to have a gaming computer and if I'm going to have a channel about gaming, then you guys are right. Maybe I need to actually put it out there and make it known. And maybe I do need to shoot videos in high def. And maybe I do need to play with higher level graphic settings, at least when I'm recording some of the videos, even if it's not my preferred way to play. So, yeah, I told you so. Don't ever make fun of what somebody is using, because you never know what they have. You never know what they don't have. Most people that I know that have money, they don't drive their exotic sports car every day. Most of the time it just sits in the garage. So, I guess what I'm saying is, as a general rule of thumb, just be polite. Have some manners. Just don't go around making fun of other people. What a miserable existence that must be. But let's get back to today's video now that we've got the graphics setting on high. So today we're talking about these 3 particular crafting dailies out of the 5, and there's a reason. So the first one we want to look at is Cube Empowered Lube. So this one right here at the very top, where we need to make a Cube Empowered Lube. So if we go not to storage, sorry, I've got my dog behind me, the laptop's in my lap, and I'm trying to get used to sitting a different way than I usually sit. If we go to the construction terminal and we search for Cube Empowered Lube, we can see that in order to make this material per attempt, we need 1 Sirene mission token. Remember, we talked about those very valuable Sirene mission tokens. This is where we need them. We need 1 Lurker Lube, and we need 25 Vibrant Sweat. Okay, not a problem, except for one question. What's Lurker Lube? Well, if we go back to our Arc Faction Ultimate Daily Hunting Circuit that we do, when we do that, as we are doing the Swamp Lurker portion, we get Swamp Lurker Oil. If we are out mining, and if we've got those 200 Arc Faction badges to get the Stage 2, the mining missions from Lee the NPC over by Mac, then one of those missions is to find blue crystal. So we get our Swamp Lurker Oil from hunting Swamp Lurkers doing the Daily Ultimate Circuit. And then if we've got 200 Arc Faction badges and we can do the mining dailies, we're also going to be mining blue crystal. So what we do is, before we ever get started, we need to convert our blue crystal into Hardening Agent. I told you guys there was a flowchart that you need to be able to do these dailies. So all we have to do to make Hardening Agent is simply refine 2 blue crystals, and that will give us 1 Hardening Agent. Once we have our Hardening Agent, we can refine 1 Hardening Agent along with 2 Swamp Lurker Oil. So 2 blue crystal to get a Hardening Agent, 1 Hardening Agent refined with 2 Swamp Lurker Oil, and that will give us Luker Lube, which looks like this. Now, once we have refined all that, now we're able to craft. So we can then craft our 1 Lurker Lube with our 1 Cyrene mission token with our 25 Vibrant Sweat, and the idea is to end with a Cube Empowered Lube being spit out from the crafting machine. And if we can do that successfully, then we will have completed the Cube Empowered Lube daily crafting mission. Now you might notice down here at the bottom is going to be the next one we're going to talk about, and that is Cube Enhanced Metal. And you notice it's got a green check mark by it. So there's a little bit of a bug when you do these missions currently. You'll get a little pop-up and a green check mark even on a near success. But in order to really complete the mission, in order to be able to go hand it back into Mac and get your Arc Faction badge for it, a near success will not work. Just having the green check mark here will not work. You have to have an actual successful craft in order to complete the mission and be able to go back to Mac and get your Arc Faction badge. So the second one we're going to talk about is indeed the Craft Some Cube Enhanced Metal mission. And let's go ahead and pull up that blueprint for Cube Enhanced Metal. And we can see that, again, we need 1 Cyrene mission token, 25 Vibrant Sweat, and we also need 1 low-grade metal compound per attempt. Well, what is a low-grade metal compound? Well, let's go back again to our daily ultimate arc hunting circuit that we do. And remember, when we're killing those scout bots for the daily ultimate circuit, we get low-grade scrap every now and then, one of those things that we said we need to keep. If we refine 2 low-grade scrap along with 1 Zornstar ingot, then what we will end up with is low-grade metal compound. Zornstar ingots are refined from Zornstar ore. And again, there is a daily mining mission available from Lee, if you have 200 ARC faction badges on you, that you will also be mining up Zorn for that mining mission. So we take the Zorn from the mining mission, refine it into ingots. We take the low-grade scrap from the scout bots from the daily ultimate circuit that we do. We combine those two in a refiner together, 1 Zornstar ingot with 2 low-grade scrap, and bada bing, bada boom, we've got low-grade metal compound. Now, once we have the low-grade metal compound, we can then craft cube enhanced metal, thereby completing this daily mission. And it will spit out cube enhanced metal as a result. Then we can move on to the third of the crafting missions for part 1, which is craft a Cyrene acid armor plate. Now remember, we were able to get a lot of our blueprints from the terminal. But remember that when it came to the Cyrene acid armor plate blueprint, we had to go do that special Zen Quack hide and seek, in order to go to all those waypoints, and we had to get up on the building at that certain level and get that one really hard waypoint at number 6. And then whenever we got back, we were rewarded with the unlimited blueprint to make a limited Cyrene acid armor plate. So it is the third of the 3 crafting missions that we do for part 1 of our daily crafting missions. Now, whenever we're done crafting it, it is going to give us a Cyrene acid armor plate limited. It has 7 points of protection, durability 1500, and it is a limited item. So there is a novel trick that I use with this particular crafting attempt that I will explain to you guys in just a second. So first, let's go back and look through what we need to actually make this. In order to attempt to craft the Cyrene acid armor plate for this daily mission, we need 6 animal eye oil. We need 5 Cube Empowered Lube, which we just crafted. We need 3 jelly worm leather. And we need 15 Zornstar ingots. So at this point, the thing that we probably don't have is that jelly worm leather. Well, remember, we made a video the other day talking about the Getting Slimed daily mission that you can go do, where you hunt those level 3 jellies and you get a Cyrene mission token as a reward. And remember, I told you guys those level 3 jellies are perfect because they tend to drop jelly worm hide. Well, all we have to do is refine 3 jelly worm hide in a refiner, and it will spit out a jelly worm leather. Once we have our jelly worm leather, and once we've done our other 2 dailies, we will also have our Cube Empowered Lube, and bada bing, bada boom, we'll be able to craft a Cyrene acid armor plate. Now, I told you guys I would show you a small trick. If we go to construct, this is a limited item, so we could indeed hit use residue, stop when residue is depleted, and if we had residue on us that would be appropriate for making this plate, then if we got a success, it would fill in all that unused TT value with residue. If we did that, it would spit out a acid armor plate with a TT value of 8 PED, full TT. Now, keep in mind, because this is a limited armor plate, it comes with some restrictions. Being a limited armor plate, it will give us the full 7 points of protection as long as it has TT value remaining. Even if it's only 1 peck or 2 pecks of TT value, it doesn't matter. It gives us the full 7 points of protection. However, when the plate gets down to 0 TT remaining, it will provide no more protection at all. But this is not something we want to sell. If we look at the markup chart, we can see that there's really not any market demand for these as far as purchasing them off auction or from other players. But that doesn't mean they're not useful. So since there's not really market demand for them, and since there's really no way to go about trying to sell them profitably, what we can do is we can TT them after we make them, or what I prefer to do is when I craft them, I don't use residue. I don't hit this stop when residue is depleted button. I just craft it, and usually it spits out a plate with about 1.25 PED TT value. I saved that. Even though it's only partial TT, it's still going to provide me the full 7 points of acid protection. And in another video that we have coming in a couple of weeks, there will be a mission where these acid plates will be something that we can throw on our armor and use to our benefit. And over time, they will slowly decay, and we will slowly get that 1.25, 1.4 PED worth of TT value back, while it's also benefiting us, giving us that full 7 points of acid protection while doing a different mission that we'll talk about later on down the road here in a couple of weeks. So when I do make these, I don't care if they're full TT. I'm not going to waste the residue. I'm just going to let it spit it out with about 1.25, 1.5 PED worth of TT value, and then I save them for use in that mission. Now, why are we only looking at these 3 missions? These 3 missions go together. In our next video, we will go over part 2, where we will look at the other 2 crafting missions that also give us ARC faction badges that are daily missions. After we have done that, we can then, in a future video, look at all the other crafting dailies that are out there on planet Cyrene that we can do that give us skill rewards, but not ARC faction badges. Now, there's something very important that I want you guys to keep in mind. When we talked about the ultimate hunting circuit, I told you guys, save your loot. Save the low grade scrap. Save the Lurker Lube. This stuff has markup. I said save the jellyworm leather. Well, if we go back and look, Swamp Lurker Oil does indeed have demand and markup. Low grade scrap does indeed have demand and markup. Jellyworm hide does indeed have demand and markup, and jellyworm leather does indeed have some demand and some markup. Most people are buying the hide, then refining it to leather themselves. But notice that the end products also have demand and markup. The Cube Empowered Lube that we just made has demand and markup. So does the Cube Enhanced Metal. Why is that? Because these 2 specifically are things that we make today in step 1 that will be needed for the 2 missions we're going to do when we get to step 2. And a lot of times people don't want to go out and have to farm their own Swamp Lurker Oil and their own low-grade scrap and then go through the process of refining and go out and mine their own blue crystal and their own Zornstar and refine it into Hardening Agent and Zornstar ingots. A lot of times they just want to be able to grab this stuff off auction and knock out these 3 missions. A lot of times they're doing the missions we're going to be talking about later in part 2, and they need these materials for those missions also. And again, if they don't have them or if they don't have them in enough quantity, they will just buy them off auction instead. So not only do the base inputs have markup and demand, but so do the final products that are spit out whenever you complete these missions. The exception being the armor plate that we just talked about. It is the one item that you craft in this part 1 chain that really doesn't have demand and value. But when you're talking about the Cube Enhanced Metal and the Cube Empowered Lube, those definitely do have demand and markup. So guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. My current plan is to start recording the videos using the Predator. I want to start shooting the videos in HD. I want to start shooting them with different graphic settings, not necessarily always very high, not always very low. Sometimes it'll be in the middle. I want people to see Entropia through my eyes, but I also want them to see it through views that they might use. Some people only like to play Ultra HD games. Some people only like to play low HD games. Some people love high graphic settings, some love low. So I want to try and make the channel a little bit better by playing with the graphic settings and playing with the quality of the videos. So that is my current plan. I also have some changes that will be coming to the video. Notice there's no banner at the bottom of this video. I've got some things when it comes to add-ons and banners and stuff that I'm going to play with over the next couple of weeks and try and get set up for you guys that I think will add to the quality of the videos. We have a lot going on. There's a lot going on here on planet Cyrene. Obviously, the holidays are upon us. We've got Mayhem starting next Wednesday. Obviously, I'll be gone participating in that for quite some time. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening both in Entropia and especially here on planet Cyrene. There's been a ton of exciting stuff happen the past 2 days alone. And I want to try and get as much content out to you guys as I can, but I also have to have the time to do it and do it effectively and do it well. So I will try and do as much as I can, but if there are some gaps in between being able to release videos, I want to apologize in advance. So guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. Sip, sip, smack, smack. Y'all know the rest. Head over to earnped.com because when you earn, we earn. That's by far the best way you guys can help support us. And guys, please be sure and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. You only have to hit them one time, you're done, and that keeps you up to date with all the newest content that we put out. Also, please be sure and hit the like button on every single video because it never fails. There is always a hater. There is always somebody who, instead of providing useful content the community can use, instead will just make content trying to mock other people or start drama with other people. Those kind of trolls, they're always going to be out there. And the best way you guys can help me, the best way you guys can support me is to simply hit that like button. And most importantly, when you will hit those buttons, when you will like the videos, when you will subscribe to the channel, when you hit the bell icon, when you leave a comment on the video, what ends up happening is YouTube gives us more reach, more exposure. It shows our videos to more people. And a lot of times it's the very first time anybody's ever heard of Entropia Universe. They start watching the videos, then they watch the channel. Next thing you know, they're playing the game. Next thing you know, they're emailing us saying, please tell your viewers thank you. Because they hit the like button, because they subscribe, because they left a comment, I found out about your channel, your videos, and about the game. I never even heard of Entropia before. Now this is my passion. Now this is the game that I love. And I really appreciate it. Guys, I'm not doing that. I put out the content. Y'all are doing that. You guys deserve the recognition for that. Because that only happens from y'all hitting subscribe, like, bell icon, and commenting. So guys, please keep it up. Until next time, sip, sip. Smack, smack. And I would say you know the rest, but apparently you don't, because you didn't think I could hit that little button right there. That one right there? Yeah, you didn't think I could hit that, so apparently you don't know the rest. Take care, Stevies.